I already had a business with an established name, and part of the divorce, I had to pay for the name. Don't make any disbursements while you're married from your trust fund.
Welcome to Divorce Friends
and Beyond.
Oh, welcome, Divorce Friends and Beyond. We've changed the name. We are with Dana Levine, stylist extraordinaire, divorcee who is remarried.
Yes.
So,
hi.
Hi. Wait, I just think that's really funny. So you're struggling with the same thing that I'm struggling with you're not struggling with it, but I was Melissa Ellen for so long, and now it's so hard to switch to Melissa Giddens. But I'm trying.
But when I left my ex-husband,
oh God.
oh wow. That's okay.
That's
like a whole other level.
I don't use that name anymore.
Right. I know. I think that is a big topic. Well, first of all, you're like an amazing stylist, which I love.
I met Stacy when I think she just kind of moved out here.
So yeah, Dana and I have been friends, I think almost for like 19 years now, something like that.
You were at my daughter's bat mitzvah.
Which was?
She's 28.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So what happened was somebody bought my services at the Curtis Fair.
Curtis is a local
school.
Sorry. School, yeah. And private school.
So they bought my services like shopping, cleaning, organizing, and then I was working for them and they introduced me to Stacy, who wanted to be a stylist.
Which I just have to say, like, I moved here from New York and I had called a few people who I knew of that were in styling world, and I wanted to learn from them how they, what they did. And a couple of people like really turned me away, and it was I don't know, they didn't want to make room for somebody else in the industry. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, they didn't want the competition.
Right. And so it was like, that's why I think you are like such the epitome of women empowering women, which is like amazing, because
very important.
Yeah, because I
share your knowledge.
When I called Dana, she was like, "Let's go."
I'm like, it's not gonna be as easy as you think. And I said something about the kind of car you drive. I go, I don't know,
Well, I don't remember that.
I do. I'm like, okay, because some of the people, no, I'm just kidding. But yeah,
did I have a nice car? I don't even remember.
You had a Range Rover.
Oh boy.
I was driving at that point. I was driving like a Pathfinder. I had to give up everything because that's a different story. But yeah, I remember I'm like, okay, but sometimes you'll have to meet me and hop in my car because it's like you can't
drive anymore.
You don't drive. I don't either. You don't drive into. But yeah, and so I just let you follow me around, and
you guys became friends.
Yeah, we worked together, and I worked for you a little bit. You taught me how to do it on my own a little bit, and then I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. But I was
always welcome. Like I'm always share my knowledge. It doesn't matter who they are. It's just there's so many women that have to start over later in life.
Which, by the way, brings us to like Dana is divorced. How long are you divorced?
I left my husband in 2004.
Okay.
Oh God, that's
like a long time. Yeah.
How long were you married?
I was married 17 years.
Okay.
And I'm with my current husband 20 years, but not all of that 20 years was marriage. We got married for my 50th birthday. But my husband was married before, but never had children. So I had 3 children when we met.
Okay. And how was your divorce? Was it a easy divorce? No, I know the answer to this, but I want
very hard divorce. I had to start over. I had to go back to work. Yeah. So my father died when I was 16, and my mom, was 10 years alone with my mom. And then when, in those days you went to college, you got out of college, you got married. I mean, that was it. There was
right.
I'm 62 now. So I remember, I was engaged a few times.
Times. Well, I'm not surprised.
But so I married, and I thought, oh my God, he was like the perfect family. I pretty much married his mom, to be honest with you, because my mom soon passed away. And their whole family looked so wonderful. Everybody loved each other. We went on family vacations, and it was just perfect until it wasn't. Until the family business closed, and my ex-husband didn't work. He had a hard time finding his next chapter, and he said to me one day, "We're going to have to get rid of, the housekeeper." And my parents were gone. Like, the housekeeper was my mother. She was my everything.
Oh,
She was like, sometimes she was my mom, sometimes I was her boss, but she was like all I had, because although I do have two sisters, they had their own stuff going on at the time, and there was really nobody. So I went back to work. Well, my first job was just to pay for the housekeeper. And then once I started...
What was your first job?
Well, a lot of people aren't going to relate to this, but I was a needle pointer, and then if people
I love to needle point.
If people couldn't finish their needle points that were time friendly, I would sit in the carpool line and finish it, and then I get paid $300, then I pay the housekeeper.
I mean, that is like, you could really do anything to make money.
Right.
But I love that
you just had
to do. Right.
And then I was in Mommy and Me at school, and this girl came up to me. She's like, "God, you always look so great. Can I pay you to shop for me?" I'm like, "Is that a job?" Okay, let me think about that. So
and at the time, though, I think you were living like...
Well, I'm still married at this time.
Oh, okay.
The reason why I left with no money is because I did eventually create this business.
Oh, okay.
At the very end of our marriage, when so he was like managing my business. So then when it was time, when I couldn't take it anymore, I went to leave him. His parents I had to pay him alimony, child support. I lost my house. I had to give up my brand new QX57, whatever the crap I had.
Wow. But you rebuilt yourself.
Yes, I did. But I didn't have a choice.
You rebuilt your whole life. I mean...
Like, knowing what you went through and then how you had to end up paying him alimony, is there any advice you would give to people?
Don't make any disbursements while you're married from your trust fund. My kids, I still feel terrible for them, and they're 34, 31, and 28, and they don't have a relationship with their father. It's really heart-wrenching.
That is really hard.
For me.
Yeah.
What's the relationship with David?
I want to speak to that for a second, because I was recently at a David Guillaume event, and he teaches Kabbalah, and somebody stood up and they were so upset because they went through a divorce, and their ex and son did not have a relationship, and she was like so heartbroken over it, and he took her into like the pain that she was feeling over it, and what came out of it was, I think Kabbalah would teach, like, they're getting exactly whatever lessons they're meant to get in this life to grow into whoever they... Like, how do you know it's not exactly what is wanted for them? And I know that's so hard for us to see, because
that's, like, way over my head, because I never had time to do Kabbalah or go to Hoffman or do anything to self-fix myself. Right. I hadn't gone to a dentist in 7 years because I didn't have any money. Like, I had to pay for my kids. Like, literally. Like, my hair... Don't get me wrong, my hair was always magnificent. I always looked great. People never knew.
It's important. And it is important. I mean, I'm this joke, my mom's like, never leave the house without lipstick. Yeah. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know. And even when my kids were babies and the moms were like showing up at the park and like they looked like they rolled out of bed, I was like always dressed. Right. Like, I didn't want to be that like schlocky.
Well, I always stayed like this because at this point, we're jumping around a lot, but like, say I'm 5 years into my career and my clients are extraordinarily wealthy and I have access to their credit cards. The last thing they need to know is I'm sleeping at the Courtyard by Marriott. Right. You know what I mean?
Right. It's sort of like act as if. Like, it's like
fake it till you make it.
Right. Like,
be who you want to
be. Right.
Act the part that you want to be.
I have one, I know we're going all around, but at this one time I used to carry 2 phones, and my ex in the beginning was rough, and I guess I butt dialed my client, and she was listening to the argument on the phone. Oh, God. And she's like, "I don't believe you pay him alimony and child support." I'm like, yeah. Mm-hmm. I didn't want anybody to know at that time that I wanted them to trust me and make these decisions, right, and how to spend their money. It's very personal, and then they know, like, I've got some guy on the other end that's like not being physically or whatever. It's a whole other thing.
Well,
But
I think it's so inspiring how you like
I mean,
created
I
this
didn't
whole
know any of that.
amazing life for yourself.
well, we didn't finish the story, but
So,
what
okay,
happened was
yeah.
is that I was in Mommy and Me, and so my sister, who is very also successful party planner, I called her and I'm like, oh my God, this lady wants to pay me to shop. She goes, that's so crazy. I just had this big executive in my office and she has no time to shop. This is going to be her job. And so I started with that, and then that girl referred me, and then that girl referred me, and then that girl referred me.
Incredible. And just like shopping for their wardrobes.
And their life and their Emmys
Everything.
and Oscars. I don't technically work celebrities. I do more executives, like producers, writers,
Executive
directors.
women and
Yeah.
mostly women,
Well,
but also some men.
I do some men, but mine better. I do. In the old days, you did whatever.
You
You did
whatever
13-year-old
you needed
girls.
to do, right.
You
Right.
did,
Yeah.
you know. Oof.
And so with the money that you made from styling, you like basically raised your kids.
I did. I'm 62 and I'm finally being able to start to do like fun things for myself, you know. But I mean, not to say I got married and I have a home and all that, but you know, it's still, I had put them through private school, put them through college, and I never got any money from.
Wow. We did one little short Instagram clip about how like a lot of people think the man always has to pay
Yeah.
for your
Well, here you
alimony,
are.
for divorce. And here's an example of it doesn't always work out like that.
Especially in California.
No.
And the other problem that I had was I was out-lawyered.
Mm.
I didn't have the money to, like, I had to
Lawyer
borrow.
up.
I borrowed money
Right.
from people and I paid them all back. But you know how it wasn't like, but his family kept feeding the
Attorney.
feeding it.
It's kind of like financial abuse, which is something I've heard discussed now,
I mean,
which I can relate
I can
to.
say like the craziest thing is that like fast forward, I don't know, few many years, and I got a call from my ex's attorney, and he called me and goes, you know, I really think you should reopen the case.
You're kidding.
And
He died the next day.
that's weird. Oh,
That is
Well, he was trying
weird.
to cleanse himself because he knew he did me wrong.
oh, right. That makes sense. Oh my
Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
But
I
yeah.
think the best, not revenge, but the best
Oh, obviously.
of it.
It's not revenge.
It's not revenge, but it's more like just
They
It's
did
just the fact that you-
everything to make for me to
torture
fail.
you.
And you
just
rose.
rose above it.
So that's
You prevailed.
so beautiful. And like,
yeah.
I don't know, that's why I wanted you to be here, because you have such an amazing story.
Well,
And-
I'm very lucky because when I got divorced, thank God there was no apps. I don't even know. Basically, I'm very technologically challenged.
Same.
But so I would, you know, I have friends that are swiping up, down. I would be like, I don't know. But I was very lucky in that when I got divorced legally in 2005, but there wasn't any of this online, like Facebook had just started, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there was no
remember.
technology. So
Right.
fortunately, somebody I had dated previously reached
Walked
out
into
to
your
me
life.
and said, oh, I can afford you now. I go, I don't know.
So wait, he realized that he had heard you got divorced or something?
Yes. So
Okay.
his father and my mother dated for years, and then my mom died. But we always stayed friends. Always stayed friends with
Is
his
he
dad.
from here?
Yeah. He's from here and he's school here. And
It's crazy.
we had always seen each other like at parties. It was like I would see him. It's not like we didn't, whatever. And then one day he heard from a friend that I got divorced, and in those days you could still call 411 for a phone number. So he was with his friend person, and the person says, "Hey, see if you can." So they were in the car and they called 411, and
They
they got my number, and that was when you had your answering machine.
Oh my God.
They left a message on my answering machine.
Oh my God.
And he's like, if you remember, if you know who this is, call me back. I knew exactly who it was.
And were you so happy to hear from him?
Yeah, it was nice because in the beginning of my divorce, my ex did take the kids for the first 2 years every other weekend
Okay.
or whatever.
Really?
But he lived
Change. Why
Okay,
did
well.
it change?
some situations with him, and then he moved to far away, so I would have to drive 2 hours to get my kids on the week. Like we'd have to move. And then he became interested in other things, and
Mm-hmm.
then he just didn't come. And I remember for all of those people going, I had this temporary custody order because didn't show up to something, and the kids were young at this time, so I couldn't travel. I couldn't do anything without his permission. It was like jail. It was like terrible.
I remember those days.
And so I had this one time he didn't show up. One of my kids wanted to go on a trip with another family, and it was just like impossible to get, like, even that was hard. And then I remember I went to court and he gave me this like temporary sole custody thing. I carried that piece of paper like until they were 18, because he never did come back. But I would fold it in my wallet every day. Like when I opened it up,
like
it was just
ID.
like there.
Yeah,
wow.
And so
you're one of those people that had to go to court a bunch of times,
well,
too.
not a bunch of times, because it started out a bunch. Like I had a first attorney that wasn't, I had to file bankruptcy. There was a lot of, I had financial ruin, like complete. Couldn't get a car. I couldn't get a credit card. I mean, nothing. It was,
right.
It was not like there was 5 families that helped me. Like one family paid first and last month's rent. I found a rental. The real estate agent that sold my house was able to find me a rental that wouldn't look at my credit. Like they just gave me the house based on his recommendation. And then one family
that like stuck by you
bought me furniture. I went to IKEA, bought furniture. Another family who owned the car dealership took my expensive car, traded it in for a Pathfinder, which I could afford. And then another family paid my groceries for 3 months. And everybody did that
amazing.
For 3 months.
Did you reach out to these people for support, or did they come to you? Like,
well, it was like my group.
Question. It was like your best friends.
Just kind of like how we always say, like, find your support group, like find your people.
Yeah. So I've been, and then,
like, don't be afraid to ask.
And then there was one family, and specifically that was so lovely. He asked to have lunch with me, and he's like, how much would it cost for you to be able to go to one of your son's baseball games? Like, how much money do you need to be able to pay this person off and just have some sort of quality of life? He wrote me a check for that amount of money. I paid him back, but it was amazing. And he, it was families that helped me. Like I said, I have wonderful sisters. At that time, they had other things happening, and our parents were gone. So,
and you had an amazing, amazing support group.
Right. But don't you think, like, some people feel like, oh, I don't want to take help from other people, or, I mean, some people will easily take it, but I feel like that's such a, like, you can show people that, like, it's okay to get help, and then you can
receive it and pay it back
when you can.
Right. I mean, lending, borrowing money is always a tricky situation. So I'm sure the person who lent me the money wasn't counting on getting it back. But you know what I mean? That's what they say. But I was very out of it, and with my pride. And I remember we celebrated. We went to lunch, and he signed off on the thing, and he said I was the only person that ever paid him back.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Go Dana.
So, but I mean, it's not been that easy, please.
I know. But you basically did it at this point, I want to hear about love after, because so David, how long have you guys been married?
We've been together 20 years. We got married for my 50th birthday. We lived together and stuff. So the big thing with David was that he didn't want to get married. He wanted, like, I don't want a ring, I want a Viking. He knocked his house down, built rooms for my kids, and then kids were getting older, we're 4 or 5 years into it. I'm like, I think I want a ring. And then he's like, okay, I'll get her a ring, and I'll pull her off.
Some gorgeous ring.
And so then, once my kids really were not seeing their dad, and one of my kids is a girl, and I said to I'm like, I think we should get married, just like for Sammy. Like, I want her to be able to have positive relationships with men, and so
show her, be an example for her, like what that looks like.
And so then we did get married, and we have a wonderful life. Like, he doesn't have children. He's super independent. I travel a lot for work. He lets me be, like, he's wonderful. I mean, it wasn't always easy with the kids. Like, there were times, because in the back of his mind, it was always like, oh, they'd rather be with their dad. Oh, they'd rather be with their dad. But, you know what I mean? So he always felt like he was, But now as adults, you know, they're...
And when you guys first started dating, how long until you said to yourself, like, oh my God, this feels right. This is good. This is normal.
6 months.
Yeah,
It was
just,
pretty,
like, feel
it was pretty
You
quick.
just know.
And I just felt like it took me a long time to feel safe, though, even
With
though
him.
it's like he never had children, and the whole time in the beginning, you know, I had financial responsibilities. I mean, he took care of me, and you know,
Yeah.
but he also could pick up and go skiing with his friends or go, you know, do things, and it's not like he, you know, I had to pay for these kids. And
I had to work, and you
also gets complicated. I remember some of these conversations, like, yeah, like when you're bringing children into this new marriage, and
I mean,
you know, dealing with finances with all of
he
that.
helped a lot, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, there was still times when, you know, maybe he was a little tired of it, you know, and
Which is understandable too.
And I'm, you know, I have that now with,
Mhm.
you know, because John doesn't have kids. But I will say when we first started dating, and people would say, "Oh, you're so lucky. That's, you know, there's no baggage because he doesn't have kids."
There's
That's
different
baggage.
There's different
itself.
baggage.
Right.
Explain, you know, being with somebody that didn't experience kids.
Right.
And
They
the
don't have that
teenagers
same-
and that
they don't
hard
have the
stuff.
same
That like
empathy.
selfless
Of
kind of
course,
love.
and
that
I
you
remember,
have.
I mean, John, like, running out of the house every time there was, like, a fight or an explosion or something. He was like, I'm out of here. Like, he was so psyched that he had his own apartment and he could just take off whenever he wanted to and not have to deal. Finally, one day, the kids were like, you gotta stop. You can't just leave every time.
Right.
Like,
How
you're
old
part
were
of
your
this family.
kids?
And when John and I started dating, Lucas was 14 and Maya was 12.
Yeah. See, Sammy was 5.
Yeah, they were
That's so
babies.
Dylan
Yeah.
was 10.
They grew up with him.
And
He became their father
Yeah.
figure.
and but it's tough because, you know, if they were his kids, you know, it would be this, you know, that's that other
Yeah,
thing. Like, if
it
I had my own kids, they would know how to ski, and they would know how to do this, they would know how to do that.
And yeah, I think that's even if they did have kids, I think when like two marriages come together, at any point there's going to be all those things that complicate it. Like somebody raises their kids one way and other people raise their kids
like
another way.
for us being that we didn't, but there's still like, if there's an issue, like they don't have the same empathy, or they do not have that same look. Like, it's okay, you know, like,
Right.
what?
It's
He
like your
shouldn't
kid
do that.
love him anyway.
Right, I'd be like, what do you mean?
Yeah, like,
you
have no control.
You have no idea.
You have no idea. So like when I'll look at something, I'll go, what? What? Like they're 25 years old. I mean,
Figure it out.
Figure it out. When I was young, you know, I walked to school.
We had to do everything.
Yeah, they're much tougher.
Yeah. They don't have that same like forgiveness gene. Like, oh, it's okay. You messed
Right.
up.
Yeah, well, it's the unconditional love thing.
Yeah.
Plus, it's like women
I would go in
and
therapy.
too. So
Yeah,
because
men, like, toughen up.
We did therapy and stuff, and I would be like, you know what? Thank God my kids. I hope this isn't offensive, but I'm like, thank God my kids aren't heroin addicts. And he's like, well, isn't that a low bar? I'm like, no, it's really not a low bar.
No,
It
it's
really
not.
isn't. And by the way,
Addiction,
I mean, you
no.
pinch yourself every single day.
Yes.
Like, I can't believe, like, thank God.
Right. I mean, that's when they were young.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're adults now, and
Yeah.
that was never an issue. But like when we would go to therapy, because we would go to therapy,
Yeah.
and those are the things I'd be like,
Right.
I'm just happy they're not drunk. You know, they're
Right.
they work and they.
Well, which is also a great thing, I think, to talk about, because second marriages, like, it could be hard. There things come up. I only know it because I had both of my parents. No, but also both. Right, I was the second wife to somebody, and also both of my parents were married a few times, and so I lived with it, and second marriages can be hard. But you both, like, you've definitely done like counseling with your second husband, and I think that's like just making it work and finding ways to like get through knowing you're gonna have tough times and like moving through it.
David is a very loyal kind of guy. Like he is, like says that he does it. Yeah. You know, and sometimes when you're raising somebody else's kids, like, well, he said he was gonna do this. Like, other kids, they're gonna say whatever it is to please you.
Right.
they want to be loved. Of course they're going to say things
say anything
that
just to get the
might
love from
not
you. Right.
come to fruition.
Right.
I mean, like I keep referring back, my kids are adults now, so I'm talking,
From the past.
Yeah,
from the
but
past,
yeah, it's
but-
just...
Yeah, but now we're like at this empty, nesty kind of like fun phase.
It's the best.
So
the golden years, like the
We're
best.
in our 60s. He's finally starting to travel-ish. He doesn't love to travel, so he lets me go and do my own thing. He's whatever.
Great. Living your best life.
Yeah, definitely my 60s are way better than my 40s. Oof. Like,
Well, I mean, I just want to also say, like, even when I was going through my divorce, you were such a good friend to me also. Forget the styling, that was done. But, like, just, I remember going on walks with you and being like, I don't know how I'm ever going to get through
She's
this.
like hand-holding.
yeah,
Yeah,
I know, but it
That
just
was my
seems
friend
so
Jane.
daunting.
Yeah.
But, like,
The
just,
monster
it
work.
does. And then,
But
you
being
just-
able to have that one person, like you
Yeah.
had Dana, and my friend Jane was that person for me that, and she was my inspiration for like getting through her divorce and being friends with her ex later on. And
yeah.
like, I still look at her now and they'll do things as one big family. And I look at that and I think,
See, I feel sad
how I
that,
want it to
that
be,
it didn't
you know?
work out that way for my kids. I think
everybody's
I think
different.
that if it all worked out, they would be in better emotional situations. But
I get that.
but it didn't work out for us. And even though, like, the co-parenting didn't work out, I still feel guilty like every day, even at my age, even though my kid's one's 34. I mean, I still feel like, oh, poor thing. I'm so sorry.
I dealt with it. I felt guilty for a long time. Like, I feel like I was always overcompensating,
Well,
and giving into things. And even John being like, oh, you give in. And it's like,
guilt.
you can't, because you feel guilty that you're like a single parent and you're juggling and you just, guilt is...
Yeah.
Well, I say this, like, as a child of divorce, being a child of divorce, I don't think I blame my parents anymore. I don't look at them and think like, oh, if only they stayed together. I think I got what I needed to like grow into who I am today. So I don't know if that helps
did
at
a
all.
lot of work.
Yeah, but I
to get
think
to that
everybody
place.
kind of
Yeah.
like has to
You have
if they
to.
want to evolve and
And grow.
Because if it's not that, it's going to be something else. Like
Mhm.
people lose parents young. Like I know you did. Like that's hard also.
Well, I don't
know?
feel bad anymore. I feel like
I still feel a little bad.
they're okay.
I'll work
They're
on that
gonna-
with
Yeah, I still feel a little bad. Like, I wish they were just launched a little bit better. Like, that doesn't all have to do with me either. It has to do with the way the world and the job market and stuff like that.
The
But
job
still,
market,
I still like,
But I feel like, I remember the divorce was, I was going to say it was hard on them, but we didn't have a healthy marriage. So I knew it was going to be better for them. What was hard was when we moved out of the house that they were living in for so long, and they were freaking out about that. And I said, this is going to make you stronger, like adversity,
totally.
and just change.
Change
and
is
these things
good.
are good, and you're going to see. And all these little hardships that they went through, which I felt responsible for, in the end, I feel like made them
Makes them
stronger
and shapes them.
but
I guess you're not-
stronger young adults now.
Yeah. Well,
for it.
I think it also has to do with the different ages. 'Cause,
Yes.
like when my kids, it was like overnight. It was like, I mean, like literally, I left a 17-year marriage with $11,000.
wow.
And I had to pay him $2,500 a month.
Incredible.
And they didn't even have
That's
a real job. I would just sit at the bench in front of Neiman Marcus and pretend. People would be like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, I have a client I'm meeting. Oh, well, what do you do? Oh, I'm a stylist now. I mean, that's literally what I did.
And
Well, you
it's
did
just,
it, and
sit
like
back and look at yourself now, and oh my god!
I mean, I saw like
What
articles like you're quoted in now, and we've had moments where it's like, oh my god, it could be a lot of work, a lot of
like
looking,
like
but
even this past Saturday, I did this video, and the girl had stairs and wood floors, and you can't wear shoes. And it's just like by the time I wanted to like the house, like if you look down, you could like drop bags down. You know, I was like, oh, I just want to drop them down. I could not like.
I know, I don't think my back could handle it.
And I'm still like walking upstairs. The young kids, they all carry their little hulking around. I'm like, hulking? What's a hulking? I mean, like
you like slept everything.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't have a little thing.
Oh my god,
that they I mean
kits. Oh,
yeah,
styling kits. Oh,
remember
my
that
God.
time when I used to borrow your styling kit because I
know.
didn't think my kit was good enough.
Well, I'm glad I was able to help.
What's a styling kit?
After she worked for me, she went to be her own stylist on a show.
And I had taken a class years before that at FIT about like how to, like just something about styling, tricks of the trade it was called, and they got us like, well, maybe it wasn't that class, but
it's the school of.
Oh, was it that? Anyway, I had a kit. I had a styling kit, and they told you everything to keep in it, and it had like, I mean, everything
like
from
a
like
steamer and tape and
because
she was on set,
lid roller,
on set,
safety pins.
So I remember I had this job. I was doing the cover of the Hollywood Reporter for a writer.
Oh yes,
I was a writer, and then she was gonna be on the cover with the voice of the person who happened to be, what's her name?
Is this the one that I did with you?
Yes.
It was Angelina Jolie.
We were I was so afraid because I was going to meet a real stylist, Jen Rat. Remember, we were going to meet her. I was so nervous. I didn't even know what a stylist did. Like, I just made all this
back to work with you.
I made this all up. And then at the end of the day, I'll never forget it. Stacey and I were sitting there, and she just walked in, camera ready, no stylist, nothing. Do you remember that? We're like dying. We're like, oh my God, did you see her out? Oh my God.
You had to like put on a performance.
Like labeled her.
Yeah, and my client, I mean, we were there for my client who wrote this movie, whatever. And then she just walked in all camera ready. We're like,
so funny.
A lot of different experiences.
Well, yeah. Which makes me also think of that the first time I ever spoke on Instagram, I called Dana because she was already doing it a little bit. And I was like, can I come over and do it with you? Like, I wasn't ready to get on camera by myself, but I was like, could we do it from your closet? So we went over to Dana's and we got on camera together. And it was, I mean, that's not a good friend.
She's an amazing
that is
friend.
A good friend.
And you're like that friend for me because I am so.
Right. So that's what we do. We help each other.
And
you know,
everybody always said, you have to write a book. You have to write a book.
You really do need.
But I don't like that girl. She wrote the book already.
There's room. No, there's room for more books.
Well, hers was nice. Like mine wouldn't be so pretty.
Well, you know what?
No, not that I wouldn't be nice, but it wasn't so pretty.
I don't know.
You need to finish that book, Stacey.
I know.
Really,
we all have a book in us, I think.
Wait,
no, but you need to finish Strangers.
Oh, I need to finish reading.
I read it in like one day.
Me too.
I mean, I can't believe I'm going to actually say this, and maybe I shouldn't say this. I'm a little bored with it, to be honest.
What?
I don't know.
My mom is reading it, who's like happily married for 57 years. She's like, cannot put it down.
Well, everybody says that, but I think for me, I'm just like, I kind of know the way the story ends already, and like I'm in the middle.
You actually don't. You'll be surprised.
Okay, fine. I'll finish it.
It was good. Yeah.
So styling.
Okay,
what styling advice would you give somebody going on their first date?
Okay.
Oh,
wow.
First date.
That's very good. Because usually a first date is casual. I wouldn't say you're going to an event, so to speak. So, a great pair of jeans, the kind that makes you feel good.
Wait. Sorry to interrupt, but I remember you once sending me a pair of jeans, and you were like, "These are like the perfect date jeans." Yeah. Okay, go on.
Like, I still remember what I wore on the first night going out with David because I hadn't, I wore dark jeans. I wore a white theory blouse and a black bra.
I'm like a little bra, show it.
Yes, like a
tea,
little
little
bit.
tea.
But it just depends where you are in life. You just want to be comfortable and you just want to be your best self. Like, are you going to go in your
Something that
Lulu's?
you're
I
gonna
hope not.
feel
Yeah.
Yeah.
the best.
Everybody's different. You know, everybody's situation is different. Everybody's budget is different. And where they live is different. You know, the one thing that has nothing to do with anything, but if I pick out a dress for somebody, they'll go, well, how do you know someone else isn't going to wear that dress? I go, the chances of someone being the same size as you, going to the same event as you, having the same budget as you, and it's very rare
Don't worry.
That they're all gonna
they're all going to
yeah,
be
right.
the same. That's like the biggest fear. The women go, well, what if someone else is wearing this dress? I'm like,
Well, then you
it's
rock it.
never, I don't think it's ever, I think it happened once in my
Yeah.
25-year career.
Really?
I don't know if that's ever happened to me. Has it happened to you?
Mm-mm.
So
Yeah. But
that's good advice.
so for
Yeah.
those women out there, just be comfortable and just be grateful that you got a second chance.
Right. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you. This is so fun.
So fun, right?
Fun.
This
Thank you
is
for
so
doing
fun.
this.